Okay, so pretty much everything is assembled for the first initial crank. Right now I'm boosting up a little bit the battery because as you can see it's pretty much toast and we are putting 40 amps. So yeah, I'm going to wait a little bit before the first crank. I want to have a good and strong first crank, so to gain some oil pressure in the system. Probably going to crank it for roughly 20 or 30 seconds before I reconnect the injectors and start up the car. As you can see, all the injectors are disconnected right now, but it's going to wait a few more minutes so to gain a little bit more amperage. And yeah, the last thing which I'm going to do is to drain all the air from the fuel system, because as I told you, the fuel pumps on these engines are really gentle, and if you have some air in the system and bad lubrication from the fuel, probably you're going to get some metallic particles in your injectors and game over. So that's why I'm going to do the bleeding procedure, like we are changing the fuel filter, let's say, and after that we're going to do the initial crank up. So let me hook up the diagnostic tool. We have put it the hydraulic fluid. As you can see, the fluid should be F07. This is what we are using for this purpose. I think this is one of the best hydraulic fluids you can buy for these BMWs. I have filled the engine with, we didn't use the recommended Castro, we are using Moto, which is suitable for DPF cars. Pretty much this is it, all the fluids are installed. The only thing that left is going to be the recharging of the refrigerant, but I'm going to leave that for last. Okay, so the good old winch, we're going to use it for doing this procedure because it's much more faster than ISTA. So we're going to connect to the ECU and we're going to search for the bleeding procedure. Probably it's going to take between 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, the battery is a little bit low, but it should be enough. How much we have? 11%, should be enough.
How much we're
still holding a lot of amperage. I guess the battery was really low. Doesn't matter, it was disconnected. Probably the battery is going out of its lifespan. So GT, drive, ECM. No, why we don't have a connection? Let me check what's happening. Okay, after checking the powers and grounds to the ECU, let me show you what I found out. Right now the test light is to battery positive, and if we found a ground, it's going to light up. And for you that don't know, the main powers and grounds for this ECU is on this block, which is located between these two ones. And as you can see, we have 3 main powers and 3 main grounds, and I have checked, we have all the powers, the main powers, but if we check the grounds, which are on the lower side of the multi-block, and once again battery positive, we're going to see that we don't have any ground to the ECM, which of course is not going to make it work. After checking everything that I have done, I have seen that I have forget to connect this wire, which should go here. And now, if we check it, we have a good ground. So once again, my mistake. So now I'm going to tighten up these 2 grounds to each other, and we're going to do the bleeding procedure finally. Okay, second try. Let's see. Okay, finally. So let's see the bleeding procedure, special functions. Bleeding fuel system for at least 3 minutes in order to adequately vent the press apply pressure. This is the same on like on the other cars. So we're going to see right now is 152 or 53, let's say. On 156 we're going to end up the procedure. Okay. So yeah, we're going to wait until roughly 156 and then we're going to end up the procedure. Okay, 156, as I told you, roughly 3 or 4 minutes, and actually this battery is getting flat really fast, as we can see right now. Once again I have put the battery charger, so to be sure that we're going to have sufficient battery while cranking for the first time. And as we can see the current right now, so to fill up the battery, so for sure this battery is no good. But yeah, let me end up the procedure. Pretty much the system should be bleeded out, hopefully, because once again you need to be extra careful with these new fuel systems. Okay, right. Okay. This we are not going to do this. Okay, just going to clear up all the fault codes, because probably we're going to have a lot because of the background. So let's see, there should be, right now the air mass meter is not connected. Message preheated control units, probably. Let me check, but I don't remember to disconnect the relay for the glow box. Yeah, it looks connected. I don't remember, did we had that fault code there? But probably we have problem with the relay for the glow box, but this should not cause any issues right now. And yeah, this is going to stay for sure until I connect the air mass meter. So now I'm going to do the initial crank up, and we're just going to crank for 20 or 30 seconds, and after that we're going to connect the injectors. Okay, this was the first crank up for gaining some oil pressure. Now we're going to try to start up the car. For this I'm going to connect all the injectors. As usual, this engine sounds really strange when you're doing some long crank. Okay, all the injectors are connected. Now we're going to try to start up the car. I'm going to disconnect the battery charger once again, because it's not a good idea to crank with it. Yeah, probably going to have a lot of fault codes because of the disconnected injectors, but let's give it a try. Okay, sounds smooth. For now, nothing is leaking. I'm going to leave it running for a few minutes. I have coolant, so it's not big of a deal. Yeah, I still don't have the fan, but for sure it's not going to overheat. So yeah, it sounds good. Okay, let's take a look underneath. connected, so we're going to install it. It's a little bit loud, but everything else seems fine. I don't see any leaks. Oh yeah, everything seems fine for now. Of course, we're going to do a test drive and see after that how it performs. So yeah, I'm going to turn off the engine and probably going to assemble the rest of the things. We have already assembled the suspension, but I'm going to put in with the rest. Okay, this is from the hydraulic fluid which dripped out from the reservoir, so it's not big of a deal. Okay, I forget to say about that we're going to need to refill the transmission oil because we have removed the transmission cooler, so we have lost few milliliters, probably close to liter. So that's why we're waiting for the gearbox to warm up a little bit to approximately 40 degrees Celsius. We're going to wait a little bit more, and after that I'm going to go through all the gears like that. And yeah, you are not going to be able to go through all the gears because the transmission is going to go by itself on second. Yeah, I'm able to put them like that, but for sure it's not switching to 8 gears or something like that. So I'm going to just leave it on parking, and we're going to wait probably, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to warm up the temperature in the transmission, oil temperature in the transmission to roughly 40 degrees, and we're going to make the precise level of the oil there. We have reached 14 degrees. The other temperatures is the engine oil temperature and the coolant temperature. So we have 1 liter, exactly 1 liter in this tubing. Take a lot, probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 300 milliliters. And now we're going to tighten up the fuel plug, and this is the procedure for making the level of the oil pressure of the gearbox. So after doing 20 or 30 kilometers in overall and testing the car, everything seems fine. The car pulls up good and feels good, works smooth. The only issue that I have found is that hose, which is the supply hose for the turbocharger. As we can see, we have leak on it. So let me zoom it so to show you. But it's not leaking from this copper aluminum rings. Sealant aluminum rings is leaking from the crimp of the hose, which means the only solution to fix this issue is to change the hose with a brand new one, which means it's going to be original one. But to change this hose, once again we're going to need to remove the turbocharger, which for now the owner don't want to do it. So this is the issue which we found by oil leak. This hose failed, and actually on the most of these engines these hoses are leaking, but they're rather expensive, and most of the people don't want to change them. For this reason, for now we're going to leave it like that. But once again, if you want to change it, probably you're going to need to remove the turbocharger for this job. I did not know that issue on this car because the engine was covered with oil and I was not sure where we have some oil leakage, but for sure in later state we're going to need to remove the turbocharger to change this hose. Other than that, everything seems okay. No, I don't see any other oil leaks, so it should be fine. Давай. Десен. Давай, прав. Excited customer, owner. So okay guys, this was the long series about the timing chains, the bearings and all included about the BMW N57. I know it's really long series, but this is how involving it is. I know it's much easier to do it with removal only of the gearbox, but if you're going to change or check your bearings, it's going to be really hard while the engine is installed in the car. You saw how involving it is, and especially if you want to change all the gaskets around the engine. So I highly prefer to remove the engine in this case. So probably going to do a different video when I'm going to remove only the gearbox and film when you only want to change the timing chains, but as we saw in this video, it's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to end up the series here. Thank you for watching guys, and see you in the next videos.